benefits and services. They talk about a lot of plans, a lot of acts, a lot of programs, right? But those are for the US cases, not for Taiwan. So if you want to find something related to Taiwanese benefits and programs, that can be a small assignment for you guys, you know. But I think I don't just assign that. So you can just go forward and go back and then check it out. You will see a lot of so-called happy organizations. And for those organizations, they provide a lot of good benefits or like welfare packages for their employees. Then you can find it out and then realize that, okay, maybe working with some companies, your life and career will be more guaranteed, and they are going to provide more sufficient or flexible benefit programs for you. Okay, so that's pretty much about the chapter 13. However, for the midterm next week, I'm gonna quickly go through some key points over here. Hopefully, you can get some ideas and thoughts how to prepare for that. But keep in mind, like I just mentioned, some of the cases or plans or acts are not here in Taiwan. So those are not very important, but if you take the benefit program, for example, I mean the chapter, for example, like if you can, I would like to ask you guys what is about commuting or like work from home. Those kind of concepts should be very important. Okay, and then, okay, why don't we get started from chapter 5? About chapter 5, we talk about workforce planning and recruiting. In terms of workforce planning and recruiting, here is an overview. You can see, let me enlarge it. And in terms of the planning overview, maybe I cannot finish everything I prepared here, but all you can do is just go back and check it out. And then, for example, like in the very beginning, you see the employment planning and forecasting, which is very important start. Because if you don't do that, the organization cannot figure out what's going on next. For example, like the next part is to recruiting people and build a pool of candidates and based on the employment planning and forecasting. I'm gonna elaborate more, or you can check it out from your textbook. And then once you get the appropriate a talent pool from the candidates, then all the candidates, they will go through complete their application forms, right? And then the company will use selection tools like tests to screen out the most appropriate applicants. And then supervisors and other people in the organization will do the interview and finally select the appropriate ones and then to be the employees in the organization. So that is about the workplace planning process. And here is some points that you have to pay more attention. It's like workforce planning, also known as employment and personnel planning. And the process, of course, as I just mentioned, is very important that can decide what positions that the firm will have to fill and how to fill them. Okay, so it's not that hard, it's kind of easy. And also it's a strategic process for the company. And here are some examples. The examples are from Towers Watson's. And then they try to use the 4 types of method to make sure how many people, what kind of people they're going to recruit. For example, like workforce scan, workforce projection model, dashboards, external labor scan. And here are some ideas or methods you can do forecasting personnel needs. First one is trend analysis, ratio analysis, scatter plot, and the last part is based on the manager's ideas, which is called managerial judgment. The first 3 parts are the formal or the types of methods people usually use. For the detailed information, you can check it out. For example, like a trend, and you will see in the past, usually how many people we are gonna recruit, what type of jobs are very so important for the organization. So if there is a trend, they do the trend analysis. So the people, the company can make sure what they are gonna recruit next. And ratio, of course, you can also see the more detailed information and scatter plot. You will see the tendency and other important points over there. Here is a good example. When people try to recruit people, like to promote one of the vice president from 3 different departments. For example, as you can see from the PPT, you will see one is Jones, right? From the production department. Another guy is Abel. He is from sales department. And the last one is Smith. He's from finance department. When we want to promote one of them, we are gonna check their requirements or the quality. For example, like they also use different shapes or different color to emphasize how they are. For example, like if they are very outstanding, they use triangle and use a yellow one. Satisfactory, use a red one, triangle. If their performance just needs to improvement, then they use a orange triangle. And in terms of promotion potential, they will show you the square. For example, like when these guys are ready, then they show you a square with a yellow color. And if this guy needs more further like training, then they are gonna use a red square. And then the questionable performance or potential, then use the orange. So in terms of this graph, then you will see who is more has more the possibility to get promoted next, and who is the appropriate candidate from the internal company, from the inside. Okay, of course, people usually some organizations try to recruit people from the outside, but you may already know there are pros and cons, right? Because those people are from the outside of the company, they don't know much about your organizational culture or norms, so they're gonna you're gonna give them a period of time to get used to the working environment inside the company. But if you have some chances to promote your employees, then they will be motivated. The cohesiveness can be improved as well. So there are pros and cons. And yeah, you just pay more attention to the keywords on the top, like productive workforce monitoring and succession planning. I show you the chart is about succession because they're gonna pick up the appropriate successors to be the next vice president from the different vice presidents in different departments. Okay, and why effective recruiting is important? I think those ideas are also important because it can improving recruitment effectiveness in terms of recruiters, sources, and branding. So in practice, the key question in all recruitment procedures is whether the method limits qualified applicants from applying. So when you provide a job posting and try to recruit people, the job posting should be very clear and concise and let people totally understand what are the requirements, what are the quality they provided, and also the benefits and the pros and cons. Yeah. And internal sources of candidates. Yeah, as I just mentioned, here are some ideas like finding internal candidates, they are current employees, and which means it is hiring from within, not from outside the company. And usually the company will provide some job posting inside. Then once you try to do the job rotation or transfer to some greater position or make a good fit for you, then you can pay more attention to the job posting inside of your company. And also, as I just mentioned, the qualification and skills are very important. So the HR department or the unit who is hiring should pay more attention to the the qualification, including the skills, maybe the characteristics or abilities and other skills they need for the company, for the unit. Yeah, you can also try to use artificial intelligence or some software to deal with that, because nowadays a lot of things can be done by AI. So that's an efficient way to take advantage of artificial intelligence to help you out. And when some company, when they need to do like recruitment or selection, they may need some agencies to help out. Some agencies are public agencies, some are non-profit agencies, and some are private agencies. So, yeah, and those are two important outside sources, like recruiting process outsourcer or on-demand recruiting services. Some human resource in Taiwanese, we call them 人力银行. Yeah, like outside outsourced recruiters, they can help you out to find some appropriate candidates for you, for your company. And here are some ideas about HR and the gig economy, because those people are more flexible. Some of them are temporary employees, so they will just follow different kind of rules when you try to recruit people. Okay, I think offshoring and outsourcing jobs, there are some overlapping concepts. If you want to differentiate these two, maybe you can go deeper to pay attention to the text in our textbook. And then, however, overall, outsourcing means outside vendors supply services to your company. But if you do offshoring, means your company may have like a foreign branch, maybe in India, to help you out. This is called offshoring instead of outsourcing. Outsourcing means some companies just help you out, help out your company. So you outsource your job to those outside vendors. However, offshoring means your company has a small company or a branch outside of the mother homeland. So then the company can help, the branch can help you out. So, and it also means that when you offshoring, it's not related to blue collar jobs only, okay? So it also can help you out dealing with managerial jobs. And in chapter 6, we learn about employee testing and selection. And in this chapter, we learn about reliability, validity, and the legal compliance in hiring. So reliability, of course, is kind of important. When you try to use the tool to select appropriate candidates, the tool should be reliable. Reliable means if you let the employees do the test again, redo it, there should be a consistency. So as it says, consistency of the test results. That's very concise, simple definition. And in terms of validity, means it should be valid, right? So you have to use accurate. Accuracy in measuring intended attributes. So you have to use appropriate, correct, accurate measures or tools to test. For example, like next week, if you want to do the midterm, I want to make sure who performed well or who is more hardworking, then I should try to use the paper or pen. I'm gonna use paper and pencil test for you, and all the questions should be very reliable, and also the way paper and pencil test should be valid, because I can test, I can make sure who is more hardworking, who tries to get a higher marks, higher scores, something like that. So the test or the measure should be very important. So types, in terms of types, because imagine that you are working with a company, they're gonna use cognitive tests, personality tests, physical or integrity tests. Okay, so all kinds of tests. Utility analysis, that's about evaluate test effectiveness and cost efficiency. Yeah, we go further to talk about employee selection. Why it is important? As you can see, the first one is performance, the second one is cost, the third one is legal obligation, the final one, which is so important for you, is person, job, or person organization fit. Abbreviation should be PJ fit or PO fit. Means the people and the job, or the people and the organization make a good fit. 就是很合适配的意思。I think it's not that applicable in the organization and also for you guys. For example, like this is an English taught class. Some people may feel, okay, it's a good fit for me. However, for some of you, maybe feel, oh, I'm struggling here. Maybe it's not a good fit, but who knows? Maybe after a period of time or a semester, you feel like, it's no biggie, it's also okay. So fit is kind of important. It's not me. There is no judgmental to talk about this, but fit is a good way to describe it. If these people and the company or the job is a good fit, it means a good combination. And this is about reliability. I will just skip it because I talked about this already. Reliability coefficient, like the left one is better than the right one because you can see the trend, right? So it means this kind of test is better because the correlation is more is obvious than the right the left one. And the test validity. Here are some key or like a smaller ideas like criteria validity, content validity, construct validity. You can go deeper and read the content, the more information about it. But in general, you just keep your mind, keep the idea of validity in your mind. I think that's good enough. And what's this? How to validate a test. There are 5 steps. Yeah. So, okay, actually in chapter 4, we learn about how to analyze a job, right? If you still remember, because that's the very first step. When you analyze your job, then you know how to do the job well. Then you will choose a test to test the newcomers or to test the current employees if they have some quality or they have some performance or skills, abilities are necessary. Okay, so the step 3, administer the test, and step 4, relate your test scores and the criteria. Criteria means, as I just mentioned, the quality, the ability, skills, and other characteristics you should have to do the job well. And step 5, validate and revalidate to make sure the test is a valid one. So that's how to validate a test. Bias, there are a lot of bias. Why don't we jump to the bias part? Let me see. Oh, this is not about that. I don't think I provide some bias over here. But as employers, actually, if you are working with HR department or you are a HR professional, you should try to get rid of this bias when you try to provide the test. That is very important. Utility analysis, type of test. Yeah, type of test, like I just mentioned, test of cognitive abilities. The first one you might not be very familiar is called intelligence test, which is called IQ, to test who is smarter, the basic ability skills. And second one is specific cognitive abilities. And also like test of motor and physical abilities for some jobs, though the physical and motor abilities are very important because you need to do something very well, then you can finish your task. And the third one is measuring personality. The next is interest inventory. Some people may have that kind of ability, but they are not interested in that kind of job or task, so they're gonna suffer working the job or doing the task, so it's not good. And the last one is achievement tasks. Of course, we can also use work sampling for employee selection. Take making cake or like making bread, for example. If you can initiate a test for people, a group of people, that they can do some bread or some cakes for you, then you can see who is more talented to be recruited, right? So by using working sample, it's just like that. Investigation and other selection method. Here are some more selection method you can also keep in mind. For example, like background investigations. Usually, at the bottom of your CV, you usually provide some references, right? So, for example, like you put your professors over there, your homeroom teacher over there, or someone who may who know you better, like if you did your internship, maybe you prefer to do to put your manager's name, and the HR may call your managers or your professors or your mentor teachers, and then they are gonna ask them some questions to do the background investigation, or you can call them like reference checks as well, and pre-employment information services. That's also another way to show who is more talented, who is more appropriate to do the job. And honesty testing is also is very important for some kinds of job, because like working with the financial industry, they do really care if you pass the honesty testing or not, right? Because if some people like to even the white lie or something, but they just don't feel it's right to do that. They want you to be very righteous, very honest to everything, to report that to your supervisor. Okay, so honesty test might be a selection method you can use. I mean, the company will use to test you. And the last one is the substance abuse screening. Yeah, some people do like drug text. If you have something happen, even though you just have some individual issues, but if you cannot pass the substance abuse screening, then it's gonna be a problem as well. But I'm not sure if it is applicable in Taiwan. As I just mentioned, all the information are from the US. They are more serious about this. But to some company, I think they are gonna provide this screening test to you. But if you want to work with them, you have better pass the screening test. Or you can just tell them what's going on to you, so then explain that to them. And in chapter 8, it's about training and developing employees. I think this is gonna be more interesting because like you guys are learning at NTPU and you guys are developing your competence, and we also hope you guys to prepare you to be the future talent the company would like to recruit. And also in the company, they want their employees to work with them better, so they will provide some training and also help them to develop their skills and abilities. And this part is about orienting and onboarding. Yeah, this is a very important key terminology you have to keep in mind. Orienting and onboarding， 就是新生训练的那种感觉，就是新人训练 onboarding new employees, okay, which is very important. Do you still remember your orientation when you are a freshman entering NTPU many years ago, like 3 years ago, right? Employee orientation, does that help? Did that help to you? The orientation or onboarding, yeah. So briefly, it's a procedure for providing new employees with basic background information about the firm. Of course, in your case, that would be a procedure for providing new students with some basic important background information about NTPU. So you guys will be more familiar with the environment or the procedure of how many credits you're gonna finish when you want to get a degree. I remember it's 1 to 8, right? 128 credits. 你们毕业要几学分？128、134，你都不知道，你到底要毕业？大三，你要算一下。OK，I'm not very sure。你们现在要几学分？有人知道吗？问一下 AI 啊。对，没有了。每个学校会不一样哦。然后你们又有 double major。Some of you may have as a minor. You also have to pay attention to the credits because if you want to get like more degrees or you want to extend your study to join the exchange program, yeah, you have to count that, or you're gonna stay for one more semester or 1 year. Yeah, it's kind of important. Oh, okay. So every manager should know how to orient and train employees, of course. The purposes of employee orientation and onboarding, like several main ideas. First of all, welcome people, provide basic information, and understanding the organization, and help the newcomers to finish their socialization processes. 社会化过程, so which is called socialization, and of course that happened to you, so it's nothing, right? Orientation process begins before the first day. Employee handbook, you are gonna get a student handbook, right? 你们有学生手册吗？ Yeah. Or you may download a PDF, a PDF from the website. Orientation technology. Nowadays, people provide different types of technology to do the orientation. In the past, maybe just face-to-face, like this kind of delivery. But now, people try to use different technology, like maybe watch a video, make sure you maybe use them like a visual VR. You can make it more effective and appealing to the new employees. Overview of the task training process. I think you know about this already. Training means giving new or current employees the skills that they need to perform their job. Yeah, of course. And foster engagement. Yeah, that's the positive outcome we want to have. Align strategy and the training. It's not hard, right? It's easy to understand. Identify employees' behavior. Yeah. The firm will need to execute its strategy. Reduce what competencies employees will need. Not reduce. It does. Yeah. actually to make sure the competencies employees should have, or try to improve them. Put in place training goals and programs to install these competencies. This is kind of important here. The ADDIE 5-step training process. If I ask you about this, try to design a short training process that you need to base on the 5 steps, and then to design some detailed information what you are gonna do. For example, like if my question for you is how to make a new staff in the Department of Business Administration, help her or him to get used to the environment and or the working environment, what you are gonna do. And please use ADDIE. Then the first one is analysis, analyze, sorry. Analysis is a noun, right? Analyze is a verb. Analyze, design, develop, implement, and evaluate. Of course, you can try to use nouns to describe it. So first of all, you have to analyze what you are gonna do, what are important for the newcomers or for the job. Then that is called analyze. And design, try to design a good training process or steps or ways to help the newcomers to be on board, right? And the third one is develop the program or the activities for the newcomers. And then try to do it, implement means carry it out, to do the practice, put it into practice, so implement it. And then try to evaluate to make sure the process over here or the design is appropriate, is efficient for training the newcomers. So the 5 steps are kind of important. Just need to keep those 5 steps in mind. Okay, what else? Competency model is another key idea you have to keep in mind, because nowadays in many companies, they try to recruit or hire a consulting firm to build up a competency model for their maybe managers, usually for managers, high-level managerial positions. Because, for example, if we want to put someone work abroad, maybe in Thailand, Vietnam, or maybe in Germany, or maybe Netherlands, what kind of competencies or skills or ability or characteristics, personality traits these people should have is appropriate to work in Netherlands. Does he need to speak many languages? What kind of skills he or she need to have? Something like that. Then that can be a called competency model. And once you have the competency model, inside of it, you will see a lot of criteria or like core competencies or some skills and abilities that this guy need to have. Then you can try to initiate a training program to train these guys. Apprenticeship training is also very important. A structured process by which people become skilled workers through a combination of classroom instruction and on-the-job training. This is also applicable in many industries. So the more detailed information, you can check your textbook. However, I would say this one is also very useful, because if you can get your masters to lead you, then you're gonna learn better. However, some people find their masters cannot be a good fit for them. They are gonna suffer between the relationship. It's not that good, but well, yeah, it's gonna be very helpful, I would say. Yeah, just like you are gonna do a master degree, right? 硕士学位. Then you're gonna find an advisor, and the advisor, you will be the advisee. You guys will work together and focus on the thesis writing. it can be a very long period of time. So the apprenticeship is just like that. You have to work very closely with your master, your advisor. And as an advisee, the good match or the fit is kind of important, because if you feel like, okay, maybe your advisor is too strict to you, then you will suffer a lot. But if he or she is too lenient, just let you guys do whatever you want to do, you will feel it's kind of, you learn nothing from him. So it depends. Training program, sometimes it's called like informal learning, yes. Or we also have most of the company also provide like formal training, but also provide some informal learning, informal training to their employees. As I just mentioned, if at the higher level of the company, they may not provide some formal classroom like this. This is called formal learning, right? Formal training for you guys. But like one-on-one or apprenticeship, maybe that not formal, which is called informal learning. We still have several minutes to go. That's fine. And 9-box grid. 9-box grid, I think you learned that, right? 9宫格, 人才9宫格. If you don't know that much, you can Google it. Actually, from the vertical axis, it was the 9-box grid will show you the potential, and for the horizontal part, you will see the performance. So, based on the vertical and horizontal axis, then you will have 9 boxes. So it simply divides all of the talent candidates into 9 types of people. So as you can see, the 9-box grid shows potential from low to medium to high on the vertical axis, and shows performance from the low to medium to high across the bottom. Then based on your performance and based on your potential, you're gonna be allocate in different area. That means you need to be improved, need to be trained, or you are ready to go. Okay, so the 9-box grid can help the company when they try to promote people, when they try to recruit the appropriate one to be expatriate, as I just mentioned. If someone needs to work outside the country, to send him or her to some Southeast, working outside the nation, then you may need 9-box grid to screen them out. Yep. And managerial on-the-job training and rotation is also very critical, because nowadays when you are working with the company, then you should be trained as well as work with them, right? Because then that's called on-the-job training. Because when you are learning, you are also working, and it's gonna be very stressful because you need to save time, you need to save energy. So I think you guys are very lucky now. You are just simply students, but for the EMBA students, they are working as well. So they suffer a lot because working needs some energy and time. And then for you, you can just pay full attention to studies. That is easier for you to handle. But on the other side, I think you learn better than them because you just concentrate on study only. Okay, Lewis change process. I think this goes a little bit too far, but I would say you can also keep this idea in mind. This is about change process. 组织变革的3个步骤，理温的 change process, unfreezing, moving, refreezing. And this is also called organizational development. So organizational development actually is another field, but HR people usually need to deal with that because it seems that HR people are very talented or need to take a lot of things into consideration because it seems they do something to support the organization, but on the hand, it seems people feel like they have nothing important to do, so they will ask them to take care of this. But it's not easy. Okay, so in terms of about the organizational development, it's a special approach to organizational change in which employees themselves formulate and implement the change that's required. But it's like usually when you see some ideas about merger and acquisition or digital transformation, you know what I'm talking about? 数位转型，很多公司都在数位转型，例如说什么东西转成数位化 then you are gonna face a lot of all variety of problems because you need a lot of money, of course. You need someone like a very professional data programmers to work out. You also need someone to do the analysis. You also need your employees to help out because they're gonna do all of the data. And also you need employers or higher level of managers to support your decision. So it's not easy. So I think if you check the news, you will see a lot of failure cases in terms of 数位转型, which is also a very important part of organizational development or organizational change. It's not easy. And in chapter 9, it's about performance management and appraisal. I think we learned this last week, right? So it's about measuring, evaluating, and enhancing employees' performance. And based on the performance appraisal, there are many ways because based on the information from the performance appraisal, you can use the information to make sure how much money you're gonna pay for your employee, who should get promoted, and who should be retained or who should be let go, right? So the first one is used for pay, promotion, and retention decisions. The second one is links performance management to company goals, of course. Yeah, that is quite critical. The third one is manager can correct deficiencies and reinforce strengths. The fourth one with appraisal, employees can review career path. Nowadays, I mean, for you and Gen Z, you will feel like if you work with this company continuously, will there be a future for you? If you don't feel it, then you may want to go. You may want to leave, right? So you can also think about career plans when the company give you the performance appraisal and you get the result. You will feel, oh, I didn't do it very well, but I tried my best. Maybe this is not a good fit for me. Then I should, transfer to another company or what. And training needs are identified. Yeah. If some companies, you get not your performance appraisal or the outcome is not that very good, then some people may need some help. So the company will try to provide some training to make you better, to improve your skills or competencies. So training needs are identified based on the performance appraisal outcomes. Defining the employees' goals and performance standards. Here are some ideas. defining employees' goals and performance standards. And this is like more individual thing, because for individual employees, you have your ideas or your goals for your future or for working with the company, but the performance standards is designed or made by the company. So once there is a gap, you have to think about that. And in terms of your own goals, if the job dimension or traits you like them, and also the behaviors or competencies are evaluated by the company well or not. So if your behavior or competencies were not correctly or accurately evaluated by the company, you may feel it is unfair to working with this company. So there are some issues for the employees and employers to tackle. So who should do the appraising? Yeah. Of course, just like what we do in this class, but now we didn't do peer evaluation. Assessment means your peer, your classmate, your coworkers will evaluate or appraise your performance as well. And this is called, and also the rating committees can do the performance appraisal, and also you can do your self-ratings. 帮自己打分数 self-rating, just evaluate your own self. And appraisal by subordinates. Your subordinates will give you a score, just like that. And overall, maybe we can do 360-degree feedback. So some scores are from yourself, self-report. Some scores will be from your supervisor, your subordinates, your coworkers, which is peer, so which is like 360-degree feedback. This is very ideal. However, it is very challenging to be carried out if you collect the data back, and you will see the difference between the performance appraisal outcomes from your supervisor or subordinates or coworkers. Usually, your supervisor will underestimate your performance a little bit because they are more harsh to you. Usually, people try to treat themselves better, so your self-raters are higher than other scores. Coworkers, it depends. I think most of Taiwanese are very nice to each other. Just 装好人, just give each other very good scores. But for Korean people, I don't know, they feel like if you don't play some tricks, then some people's performance will be better than yours. It's not good. So to my experience, I had a lot of chances working with my Korean friends or classmates when they need to do peer evaluation, like to give each other, evaluate other groups' performance. My Korean friends taught me to give them lower scores than ours, because if they give us lower score, then we are equal. But if they give us a better score, then we win. You know what I mean? So they are kind of tricky. But for Taiwanese, we don't think in that way. It's kind of fun. But you know what? In the company, this is critical. That will be related to your promotion, your salary, your benefit, your a lot of things, a lot of in the jobs. But at school, I think it's just okay. Yeah. Traditional tools for appraising performance. You can just keep those, look at it, and then the first one is like graphic rating scale. That can be doable. Another one is the alternation ranking method, or pair comparison method, or force distribution method. Some company they use force distribution, 强迫分配 method, 强迫分配法. So someone should be at the bottom 20%. Someone can win the 20%, the top 20%. And for those who can win top 20%, maybe their 绩效奖金 performance bonus can more than maybe a lot. To my knowledge, they win a lot. So it's kind of important for them. And for the bottom 20%, maybe someone should be let go to verify deal. So it's hard.